Hello, welcome back to our channel. Now that you got to see our shelving for the shoes, I decided to make a shelf on top to store book bags. Do you struggle with the kids coming home from school and just dropping the book bag just anywhere? You're at the right place because I'm going to show you how I solved that issue at my house. Let's check it out. Is this something that you can benefit from? Something you could use? What you do is when you're using any type of power equipment, make sure you have safety glasses on. One thing you got to make sure you do is when you're, sometimes I fail to mention that. We have this cut. Then you got to decide, do you want the gussets on the top? Or do you want it underneath on the bottom? It's your own preference. My case, I'm going to put them on top because I have the shoe rack on the bottom and I don't want to be in the way. As I mentioned in the other video, here's my tool list. I should explain that before I get too far in. You need yourself a pen or pencil to make marks on the wood. Nice little drill, real cheap on Amazon. This is a 12 volt. I'll put a link in the bottom of all the tools I've used, just in case you decide you want to use something similar. 2 1/8 screws, drill bits, and of course a level that I don't have out here right now. And you may need a square. So the first thing I'm going to do now that I got parts cut is I want to drill holes through this because I don't want it splitting since you're close to the edge. So here's my screw, and then I find a drill bit that's similar to the center of the screw, the diameter center of the screw, because when you run the screws in, that wood, the screw's going to make a void in there, and that wood's got to go somewhere, so it pushes out, and that's why it splits. So if you drill a hole, then that prevents the splitting. So I'll just go ahead with that one. Don't have to be perfect. Now that we have the drill bit size, I set on this gusset on here to trace it, but I set the gusset a little bit this way because you can see I'm going to put a cover over this like I did on my Murphy bed, and you want it to be flush. That way I can cover up these different layers of the plywood. Now you might be using just regular wood, so you might not have to do that, so you can disregard this part. So now that you got your line drawn, go ahead and drill some series of holes. And you'll want to put those every couple inches. And what we'll do is we'll drill up through the bottom. Got the screws lined up part way through, not the whole way, on both sides. And I just thought about what I said earlier. I'm using 1 5/8 screws, not 1 1/8, because you want to make sure you have enough meat through here and then onto here. There you can see just a little bit of a lip right there, about a 1/16, a little bit better. But when you run these screws in, you got to be careful not to run them in too fast, because what will happen is if you go in too fast and seat them in too deep, since these are not real long screws, they will strip out in here, especially with plywood. So you got to be careful with that. So, like that. And they're all just seated in there just a little bit below the lip. Now, if you just use regular boards, you might not need to do this step, but you'll notice on a lot of your plywood, this has a bow in it. And sometimes regular boards have bows in that way, or it could be this way. So that's good to have a gusset the whole way, because that flattens out the board for you. Now what we need to do is put a board back here to help take out this bow. Okay, let's take this shelving in here and try it out. I think I might make a change here. I think there's just enough room to be able to get those shoes out of there. So I might just put the gussets down, because I got to thinking about it. What you want to do is the gussets here help support this and give it more strength against the wall. And so basically I think what I'm going to do is put a strip across here in the back and a strip under here on the front to stiffen this up, make it level, and then we'll be back. Okay, I took some drop whenever I cut off of this piece that was there like that. I cut that off, and then I'm going to put this up top here like this. Or you know what, let's go underneath. Let's put it underneath, because that'll give it more cleaner look. So let's trim this off here, and we will drill holes through here again and put screws in. Okay, now we got the screws all started. So we'll want to make sure we have this flush right here and right here. See, that's out just a little bit, or in a little bit, so we pull that out. And by putting this in here, it'll do several things. It'll level out the board, the shelf, and it gives me a nice even area on the back, because everyone's studs are in different places, so then I can put a screw wherever the stud is. So let's go ahead and screw these in. And like we mentioned before, we don't want to screw them too fast because they could strip out. There you have it. We got this screwed in, put 2 screws on each end and 1 in the middle and 1 in between there and here, with 1 here on the edge. Now to help draw that tight. And then I cut this board in here because this will help me with studding it to the wall, or screwing it to the stud. Now this here, you have some preferences. How do you want to do that? You could put it in this position and what it look like that. Or I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up to the top, which will be the bottom because this is upside down, and then see how this edge is on there, and then I'll cut a 45 across here, and I'll just help make it look a little more elegant. Okay, see how that looks? Went ahead and put a 45 on that. We'll screw this tight. That helps with the spacing this way and this way, and of course fasten it to the wall. And so we're going to go ahead and put 2 screws on this end as well. Okay, here's what she looks like. Here, before I put it up, let's carry it in the house, in the garage. Okay, here's the shelf. That's the finished product. I'm going to go ahead and put this molding on later, so I'll have a video on the end screen of how to do that with a demonstration. So my battery went dead, so I wasn't able to get the last 2 screws in, but that kind of gives you an idea what it looks like. And now let's go get Levi. Okay, Levi, there's your shelf. This is a home for your book bag whenever you get home. That way we're not just going to drop it on the floor when you walk in, but first make sure your shoes go where they go. Well, I hope you learned something. Give us a thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe for other do-it-yourself videos as this one, and I hope you have a great day.